We were hoping for the future game show this week to be the moment Frontier finally drops the announcement trailer for Jurassic World Evolution 3. It seemed like the perfect opportunity to drop a trailer, the only gaming event with the right timing, about 4 months ahead of Jurassic World Rebirth and the presumed launch of the game. Unfortunately, that hope has now been crushed with the reveal of the list of publishers and studios which will appear at the gaming event tomorrow. Frontier Developers is missing from this list. I'd consider the odds of Jurassic World Evolution 3 being a surprise reveal astronomical. Of course, astronomical odds is not the same as impossible, but at this point I think it's safe to assume no trailer is coming tomorrow. So as we mentally prepare ourselves for that, let's talk about what this means for when the game will finally be announced and when it will release. Or the dreaded, is it cancelled? A release alongside the movie would obviously be the more financially beneficial strategy. Strike while the iron is hot. Make the most of the hype that will surround the film. It's such a no-brainer that it's always been the safe assumption. Until now. It's what they did with Jurassic World Evolution 1 for Fallen Kingdom, and it's what they probably plan to do with Jurassic World Evolution 2 and Jurassic World Dominion. Unfortunately, that movie was delayed by a full year due to the pandemic, and the game was probably delayed from the summer to a release in November. Frontier themselves said in an investor livestream that releasing alongside the movie is ideal. And according to a former lawyer involved in the license agreement, that was the plan. But with Jurassic World Rebirth less than 4 months away, time for a proper marketing cycle is running out. I could have understood them holding off on releasing the announcement trailer until the future game show Spring Showcase tomorrow. It is the one gaming event with the right timing. While it is a significantly smaller event than the Summer Showcase, Summer Games Fest, an event still gets some extra eyes on your trailer, and every set of eyes is a potential buyer. It seems to me that with Frontier letting this opportunity slip by and not teasing any announcement for next week's Unlocked stream either, the possibility that the game will not release alongside the movie just went from being the least likely option to being the most likely option, in my opinion. I would be very surprised if Frontier randomly drops the trailer on their own socials within the next couple of weeks to announce a release in June or July. If they weren't waiting for the one gaming event this period, why not release the trailer in February? Why wait a month or longer, shortening the time frame you have to hype up your game and convince people to buy it when it comes out? Maybe Frontier is just that confident in the power of the franchise that they don't need several months of marketing and they're just holding off. Financially, I do think a short marketing window is less risky than missing the movie. So maybe they are planning a super ballsy move, with the trailer releasing at Summer Games Fest on June 6th, a big event getting them lots of extra attention, and releasing sometime in July, only a few weeks after Jurassic World Rebirth, when the hype is still expected to be at its peak. The main thing is that I just don't understand why they would choose to have such a short marketing window. Release a trailer at Summer Games Fest, sure, but have that be the second gameplay trailer. Release your announcement trailer earlier so you can get the ball rolling on your marketing. Now, marketing doesn't come for free, so I understand shortening it to a certain extent. If you recall, for Jurassic World Evolution 1, that game had an announcement trailer a year in advance. And it's shortened with Jurassic World Evolution 2, and it's shortened, I think, even further with Planet Coaster 2. And I think that's done with financial considerations in mind. Because again, marketing isn't free. It's not even cheap. The thing is, I don't understand them shortening it even further, even less than 4 months. Which is exactly what we're looking at here right now, as we're mid to late March, and we were expecting the game to release around the time of the movie. As powerful as the franchise is, it is a third iteration of the game. I think good marketing will be crucial and worth the investment. My suspicion, and I also shared this after Frontier and Jurassic World Evolution 3 were a no-show at the Game Awards in December, that it's not that they're late with a trailer, it's actually too early for a trailer. My gut feeling right now is that the game will not release alongside the movie, and by that I mean not releasing in the month of June or July. Just to make sure there's no confusion here, that is my speculation. The game still releasing alongside the movie is not impossible, and like I said, there is strong motivation to do just that. I very much hope to be proven wrong in a couple of days or weeks. I want to make that very clear. If that happens, the first person to come back here and comment, "This aged like milk," will be pinned, because I want to be wrong. Those comments will be celebrated. However, the rest of the video further speculating about when the game will have a trailer and when it will release will be based on the speculation that the game is not releasing alongside Jurassic World Rebirth. So when do I think it will launch, and when do I think we'll be seeing a trailer? First, I want to address a question that I think we might have, and that is, does this mean the game was never planned to release alongside Jurassic World Rebirth? Or was it delayed? According to the lawyer, the intent was for the two to coincide, but all we have is his informal post about that. I do think it's possible that the game was delayed, but I know that that word is kind of like a dirty word in the industry, but I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing for us as consumers. Frontier received quite a bit of backlash for the state in which they released Planet Coaster 2, and especially the release of a DLC a month later. I do think that they've taken the criticism to heart and adjusted course with Planet Coaster 2, stating that they would hold off on DLCs for now and focus on improving the game through free updates. Perhaps this was also a cautionary tale for Jurassic World Evolution 3. They realized that to release the game alongside the movie meant launching the game in a state that would earn them similar backlash to Planet Coaster 2, and then decided that they'd rather miss the ideal launch opportunity than release the game before it's ready. In which case, I think that would be commendable, because that is a huge risk. I think we all agree that we are fine waiting if it means we are getting a better game on day one, but that missing that launch window is really going to affect sales. So if the game is delayed, if that's the choice they made, then honestly, that's a really brave choice that would prioritize the gamers over the finances. Is that realistic? No, that's a very idealistic look at things, but what you gonna do? I'm the eternal optimist. I had to float that possibility. Having said all that, I also think it's possible that when Frontier made a bid on the license and came to an agreement with Universal, they initially planned to release with the film. Like when they bought the license, that's what they were thinking, only to realize very early on that they wouldn't have enough time for a sufficient dev cycle, and thus they changed plans very early on in the process. In which case, calling it a delay is a bit of an overstatement, as that all would have been calculated in. So, what do I think about a possible trailer release and launch day? I think we have two options. One I already talked about months ago after the Game Awards, which is that the trailer will be revealed at Summer Games Fest and the game releases in November, potentially a little earlier in October. This mirrors the strategy for Jurassic World Evolution 2, and this puts the marketing of the game, rather than the launch of the game, right in the middle of the movie hype, so they can latch onto that a bit, with the hope being that people will still be interested in the tie-in game months later. The other option is that Frontier releases the announcement trailer on a random day on their own socials, and 4 months later the game releases, which mirrors what they did with Planet Coaster 2. Summer Games Fest would be used to showcase a second gameplay trailer. I think Summer Games Fest is so close to the movie's release and such a big platform to get extra attention for the game that they have to appear there with something. In this second scenario, the launch date of the game will still be as close to the movie as possible, something like August or September, just not as close as we were initially thinking, June or July. Personally, I think option 2 is the most likely one. I really see them pushing to release at least in late summer, as close to the film as possible. Obviously, neither is ideal. By Frontier's own words, it's not ideal. But if the game's not done, the game's not done. Planet Coaster 2 showed that releasing a game apparently before it's really ready is not ideal either. And just to reiterate, I don't think waiting longer is a bad thing as long as we hopefully get a game that isn't launched prematurely. Now, I already know that some people will be concerned that the game is cancelled. This is a knee-jerk reaction that people tend to have when there's no news. This is not a concern I share. This is a very important game release for Frontier. They can't just scrap it. I don't see any reason to assume right now that just because there's no news, the game has been cancelled. We all just need to be patient and hope that good things come to those who wait. If you've enjoyed this video, check out one of the videos appearing on your screen right now, which I think you might enjoy as well. And of course, subscribe to stay up to date on all of the news. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time. I didn't write anything down in my script. I figured, you know what, I'm gonna wing it. I'm gonna see what happens. We're just gonna say the line, and then I'm sure something clever will just pop out. And I've never had such incredibly misplaced confidence in my own abilities. We're gonna end it on that.